Well, the times they are changing. I mean, have you kept up with the news? I know I have, and I've made some notes as I went along. As you watch the news, does violence seem to be on the upswing in your neighborhood? It is almost every place. And so, violence not only in our neighborhoods, in our workplace, the places where we shop, in our churches, in our schools, it just seems to be on the upswing every place we turn. There doesn't seem to be a safe place anymore. But I have some good news. It's really not the place that creates the safety. It's the people in that place that create the safety. And so you have a lot of control over that. And so with some good information, you can develop good skills. Remember when you decided you'd learn how to drive a car? Yes. And so when you did that, kind of you knew mechanically what was going to go on, but it took a little while to get those skills together. And then you became a safe driver. Part of becoming a safe driver was knowing and understanding the rules of the road. That would be the laws. And so it's the same with firearm ownership. In our conference coming up next October, that is the Urban Self-Defense and the Law. And so in this conference, you will get some valuable information that you can take home with you and use on an everyday basis for the rest of forever. And so part of the conference, we're going to talk about street smart tactics. It's the tactics and protocols that you can use on the street to keep you and your loved ones safe. And not only that, but strategies, tactics and strategies for certain. And then what about keeping you safe? Keeping you safe and popular myths and misconceptions in the media. Do you think there's ever any misinformation in the media? Well, probably so. And so we will identify those myths and misinformation, because the more you know about the truth, then using that truth, the better decisions you will make on what to do for your safety and the safety of your family. And so I've attached a video to this recording, and the video will give you a preview of what you can expect this October at the Urban Self-Defense and the Law Conference. And so take a look. If it's anything you're serious about, please contact the school. And the school is at area code 360, number 378-1776. See you then. Well, hello. I'm in the studio this afternoon with Kerry Slone. And if you're coming to our conference this fall, you'll get to hear Kerry. She has a big message to pull. And part of that message is all about keeping ourselves safe no matter who we are or where we are. And we hear a lot out of the media. But media, do you think there's ever any misinformation in the media? Yeah, well, maybe so. And so part of the conference will be dispelling some of that misinformation, because we'd like you guys to be able to come to conference, get some new truths, take it home with you, and have it be effective in your lives. And so, do you think the times are changing? Yes, the times they are changing. And we need to change to keep up with it. And that's what this conference is all about. And so, Kerry, thanks for joining us. Appreciate you being part of it. And so, what can people expect if they come to conference and meet with you?
Well, thank you for having me, not only here on your show, but at your conference as well. As you mentioned, my name is Kerry Slone, and I am the Director for Education for the Crime Prevention Research Center. And for those of you that know, that is, I work with John Lott Jr. over there, and I'm helping to expand his reach to educate people about the misconceptions with gun control laws. I also run my own organization called We the Female, and that is an organization that, in short, arms the women with education, confidence, and self-defense.
Wow. Are there differences in training men and training women, do you think?
Well, I'm no biologist, sir, but last I checked, there are some differences, fundamental differences between us. Now, here's the thing. That doesn't mean that we can't both learn. We both, men and women, can't learn. We just learn differently. And, you know, as anybody who's been shooting for any period of time knows, women are better shots when they both have equal training, right? If everything else is equal training wise and such, women tend to be pretty darn good at it. Yeah. So, but what my goal is in particular is to focus on women who have had negative experiences with guns. They've, for whatever reason, have it in their head that guns are a bad thing, whether it's from being a child or from even up to being a domestic violence survivor, which is what I am. and what threw me into this. Many years ago in Washington State, there was a law that many of you will be familiar with. They called it I-1639.
Yes.
And for all of the things in 1639 that people knew were terrible, one of the little secret things that was in there that they didn't promote or market was the fact that when you sign that 4473, that little form that people that support gun control think doesn't exist, that FBI background check, in Washington State, that is now a waiver of your medical record, so that the Washington State Health Authority, whoever they are, can look at your medical record. And, sir, you and I both know they're not looking for broken arm. They're looking for mental health issues, medications, so on and so forth. Well, many years prior to 1639 being presented, I was seen by mental health care professionals after I had been beaten up for the last time and was going through a bunch of legal battle over that with my abuser. I was in therapy and was diagnosed with those 4 magic letters, that what they're really looking for, which is PTSD.
Oh my.
Yes. So when that bill came out, I became very vocal about it, grassroots level. And I said, because people don't read legislation, we know that. And it's incredibly frustrating. They think they do, but unless you're reading that actual piece of proposed legislation that's incredibly convoluted by design, you're really, the summaries, the news highlights, they're not giving you all that information, which is exactly what happened in this case. So a lot of people didn't know that in 1639, they saw this feel-good legislation, the expanded background check, mandatory 10-day waiting period, mandatory training, safe storage, all of this. But they were not aware that this existed in the bill, which is this waiver. And I spoke out about it the day after it passed. I was actually physically sick to my stomach when I typed it. I was running a day spa, living the glam life in a day spa, and having a grand time. And the one post literally changed my life. And that post was me telling my friends, for those of you that voted for this, let me tell you what you just did to me. You just put me in a position where the state could potentially deny me the purchase of a firearm to protect and defend myself from the man that is stalking me, because he stalked me and they all knew it. They were my friends.
This is an interesting topic, for goodness sakes.
Yeah.
And so I appreciate that you found time in your schedule
Thank
to
you.
join us. And because I'm pretty sure our attendees are going to want to hear the rest of the story, because most of us, we only know what the media fed us.
Of course.
And highly diluted. And so the reason I'd like to have you there is so that we can get the facts. And nobody's done more research on this than you, that I know of at any rate. And so I'm happy to have you part of it. Thanks for joining us, and look forward to seeing you in Boise.
Thank you so much for having me, and I look forward to it as well.